Aegon II kind of just loses his mind and goes crazy with power and what he wants to do and how he wants to retaliate against Rhaenyra. And it leads to some pretty good scenes. And it's interesting just how everybody's roles are kind of evolving. You have Alicent, who I guess is trying to play a level head, but at the same time isn't. It seems like she
Right.
still wants to get at Rhaenyra, but she's like,
Because
okay, I
she has
don't
no
really.
power. Like
Exactly.
she ended up giving the pussy up for the patriarchy, and it's backfiring. Okay,
Absolutely. Yeah.
it's not working.
Yeah.
Welcome to another episode of It's a Streamable Life podcast with Brandon and Lorin. It is July 7th, and it is hot as hell.
Yes, it is very hot, humid, sticky, all of that.
Yeah, it's usually what isn't August like the hottest month?
Yeah, usually like yeah, but uh, it's been hot. I went for a walk this morning, and I think I misjudged it. I thought I saw the trees blowing a little bit. I was like, "Oh, it'll be all right out there." It was hot, no clouds. I was cooking in the sun. I was like, "Damn."
Yeah, I went on a walk just this evening about 2 hours ago. I was like, I'm sweating like as if I
Right,
ran.
right.
It's too much. But, we asked for it to be warm after the
Right.
cold and
And that's the thing. In about 3 months, we'll be complaining like, "Oof, it's
where's the
cold out
heat?
there." Like,
It's crazy.
yeah,
But we are back for another episode. We have a lot to talk about, so we want to get right into it. But first, we have to discuss one of the big moments last week. After the initial release of this song, we finally got the music video for Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us diss
yeah,
track toward Drake, and the video's phenomenal. It's added legs to the song, which hasn't really gone anywhere. I saw some people complaining that they hear it too much. It's like, where are you hearing this if you're not
right.
playing it yourself? Like,
On your own, right? Absolutely.
it's not
And
like
I
the
saw,
90s where stuff was on the radio and stuff.
and that's funny you say that because I saw some people say things like, if you can't handle how much Not Like Us is being played, you wouldn't have lasted through like the Macarena and Mambo Number 5 and what was the other one we kept listening to, the Cha Cha Slide and stuff like that.
Yeah. Like, you can literally choose not to listen. So I don't know where I'm
Absolutely.
hearing this too much unless you're being held against your will by a Crip or a Blood. It doesn't make any
Right.
sense.
that I think I've heard it on the radio once, and that was serious radio, so it wasn't just your regular radio.
Because I doubt they're playing that in Indianapolis. We get everything literally
No,
2 months later.
absolutely.
But the video is phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
Top
it's very good.
tier. Is literal. Everything is
Yeah,
intentional, from the hopscotch little sequence to
right.
the bird in the cage at the end. Like, it's over. People are still whining about who won. Who no, it's clear.
It's done. And yeah, I don't
And
think Drake will say anything or come back, but I think he's probably just like, okay,
right,
so what can I do?
just
Right,
get ready. Just go back to singing, just like Kendrick said,
right, right.
and we'll be fine. But yeah, I'm sure that's going to give it more momentum, and I'm sure it's going to be nominated for a Grammy. I don't see how it isn't nominated for a Grammy.
If he wins a Grammy off a diss track, that's crazy. Like that's wild. I don't know how you react to that as Drake. You're just gonna be like, damn. Like,
But I'm sure it will happen. Because out of all the hip hop male artists, no one's really having a moment
no,
like Kendrick is. Because the game is being flooded by the women. Like, they are
absolutely.
chart toppers. They're the ones that are pushing the culture right now. And then
And
there's Kendrick.
that was seen through the BET Awards. Just
Exactly. Which I didn't watch because we had House of the Dragon. But from what I did see, yeah, the women are running the game.
yeah, whether it's R&B or rap, they're doing it all. And um, there's mostly women that did Usher's tribute. Almost all
Mm-hmm.
women. A lot of people are like, what's that all about? But I don't know. It doesn't surprise me because they're the only ones being creative. All the little this and little that are doing the same shit. So
Exactly. Exactly. And all the R&B male artists that people are listening to are not big enough for a BT stage
exactly,
yet. Like, they don't
yeah,
have the recognition that these girls have right now.
right.
Other than a Lucky Day, but still a lot of people that watch BT
Wouldn't know.
are not listening to him. Exactly.
And what's
So
crazy about that is that I'm not even sure how many people he dropped the album this past Friday, and I haven't listened to it yet. But like you said, I'm not sure how many people have. You don't see talk about it anywhere. So I mean,
yeah.
but I don't
Yeah,
know.
people confuse the chatter that happens online as if
Right,
it's what's represented of the nation. And that's not the
right.
case when it comes to these things. So yeah, I thought it was great. Don't bring Taraji back to host
Oh
and get
Lord,
some new writers. But other
yeah.
than that, I thought it was good. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and move on into our feature presentation. So
Right.
we had the season finale of Interview with the Vampire season 2. Before we get into the full season thoughts on the season itself, let's just get into the finale episode.
Absolutely.
So we already had the trial. We saw what happened as consequences of Louis and Claudia's deception.
Yeah.
Claudia and her companion Madeline suffered the horrible fate of being
Right.
killed, and Louis was buried alive, basically, to basically have an existence of like death amongst
Right.
the living. But then this finale episode, we have, Louis' revenge and a startling revelation that sort of
Yeah.
jolts the entire of what we just saw, basically. It's revealed that Armand was not the one who saved Louis in those last minutes of episode 7. It was actually Lestat, and Armand
Yeah.
had planned to murder Louis along with Claudia and Madeline. And it just sort of reiterated the love that Lestat had for Louis, despite their
Everything that went on.
issues.
Yeah. Right.
So, what were your thoughts? What were your thoughts first on the first half of the episode, where we have Louis' rage
I thought
awakening
it
him
was
for his
good. I
vengeance?
thought
Go
I'm sorry,
ahead.
you froze there for a second. Can you hear
Oh,
me?
yeah,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
fine. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. No, I thought it was good. I was how the episode started. It was kind of cool that how he kind of came back and had this like a little revenge moment and everything. Thought that was good, but no, it was a decent season finale. I don't know what I really expected because episode 7
Mm-hmm.
gave you so much. I was like,
Right,
okay,
right.
I guess they'll just wrap it up, but yeah, no, it was good. It was really good.
Yeah, since episode 7 had so much happen, I didn't know what was
Right,
left to say. But it was very good. The writing was superb. The
right,
way they had Louis describe like his imprisonment and just the physical
right.
torment he was going through, and the emphasis on Claudia was dead.
Claudia's
Like,
dead. Yeah,
yeah, that was really really heartbreaking, just to sort of hear the pain he was going through and how much he really loved
her. Yeah,
Claudia. And then we transition to this reveal where at first we think Daniel, I don't know where he was going at first.
yeah,
Because I don't think I was really putting those pieces together throughout the season, like hearing it. I remember, of course, he was sort of getting these hints from the Temalaska or whoever they're
yeah.
called, like the
Yeah, I know what you're talking. Yeah,
the Secret Service people. But I didn't realize that they were that much like in sync in what exactly they were planning. But they revealed that Armand was had been lying. So we were told, just like Louis was told, that Armand had the script sort of ripped from his hands and was a prisoner of Santiago's plan. But it turns out that Armand was actually the director of the play and intended for all three of them to die, and Lestat stepped in to save Louis at the last second. And this sort of course, enrages Louis. I was shocked because I didn't know what exactly Daniel was pointing to or where it was going. And rightly, Louis orders Armand to leave at once as he goes off back to New Orleans to find Lestat. And that was a beautiful moment.
Yeah, when he found him in the house. Yeah, I thought that was good too, amongst the hurricane and everything.
Like,
yeah, that was
like all those years later, and then both sort of finally coming to peace with what their situation was and their common grief over Claudia.
right.
But yeah, Louis spoke pretty profoundly of how like he finally accepted what Lestat gave him as a gift instead of a curse. And I think that spoke more to Louis' own mental state at the time. Because when you think about it, he was a black man, a black queer man in America, and he never really found a place to fit in. So he was lost. And he sort of, this gift Lestat gave him, he didn't know how to exactly use it to his advantage. He still found himself sort of struggling even with the power, and basically he was depressed. Like he really was down bad, and it took him 77 years to actually find the joy in what happened to him and what Lestat gave him.
Right.
So I thought that was a beautiful moment.
Yeah, there's a lot of good things that happened in that episode, and I'm trying to think back. I thought the end part was good too, with the whole. I guess I don't know how far we want to flip ahead, but whatever. With the where he's hearing all the voices.
Yeah,
this is at the very end when the book is released, and Daniel goes on television and he's talking about it, and all the other vampires, I guess around the world or maybe where he was, start making comments about, like, oh, he broke the laws and I would kill him by 1,000 bites or this and that. And then he has that little moment at the very end where he's sitting, I guess in like his little thinking room. He very much tells him, if you're really about it, come find me. Like,
right. That was so dope. And because you finally see him command what he is. Because for the longest time, like, he didn't want to drink from humans. Like, he was sort of delaying. He wasn't accepting that he was a vampire. Like, he had this power.
Right.
But you finally see him stand up in it, and what was touching, you see the portrait of Lestat and then Claudia's dress in the background. Yeah. And he's just basically like, bring it. Like, I don't care about your laws. I own the night. Like, that was fire.
And I think I'm bouncing around this episode too. I think it was this episode as well, or maybe it was episode 7. No, I think it's this episode where he's talking about, how he was like, oh, and Claudia was dead, but they're also giving those little flashes where he sees flashes of Claudia and of Madeline, and who was that? That was his brother, right?
Yeah. He's talking to Daniel in the beginning, and you see like his mom, his sister, his brother, like he's like going through all this grief that he really hadn't processed. Like, his brother died, and his choice, like, his mother literally shamed him, blamed him for the death, and immediately he becomes a vampire. So like he didn't really get to grieve, and I guess through all that he finally accepted that. But yeah, that moment was awesome as well. The revenge part, him seeking revenge on Santiago and the other vampires. I finally realized what they were referencing when they said, the theater was burned. It was him. I didn't realize when they're in the coffin, like, they're basically numb to the world.
Outside. Yeah.
Yeah, so he lights them ablaze. And then the death with Santiago was so personal. The slicing the head. But Ben Daniels did an excellent job as that character.
Yeah, he was very creepy, very believable. I had a
Yeah.
laugh though when he popped out of that sewer, man. I don't know why that made me laugh, but it was so unexpected. He's just
I think
poof, and
just the like the physics of it, like seeing it
right.
happen. Yeah, I get that. Um and then I didn't catch this until like a second watch through that Daniel was now a vampire.
Yeah, at the very end, yeah, you can see his eyes, and
Yeah.
that's what he said is that I think Louis apologizes for leaving him there with Armand, and
Mm-hmm.
he's like, okay, but yeah, so
Because
I
it made
oh, go ahead.
sense why he was talking telepathic. I said, "No, did Daniel?
Right,
What?"
right. But look, man, I feel bad for anybody that's not watched this show because this is some of the best television in the
Yeah,
last few years.
yeah, and I know it's supposed to come to Netflix later this year, so we need to push people to
Right.
watch it. We are getting season 3, which is great, but we need more people to watch it. And of course, Gen Z and anyone's grandma is going to find it on Netflix because that is now cable. Like
Yeah.
that's where
Right.
people find shows when they don't have the streaming service or whatever.
And it's short seasons. It's a good story. I would say it's a little bit of a slow burn in the first season for maybe like the first 3 episodes or so, but
Mm-hmm.
and then it really takes off. But yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah, the writing, the acting, um, direction, production for what they have budget wise. It's not HBO, it's not Prime
Right.
Video,
Yeah.
but AMC does a great job at handling it and making it believable.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on the season as a whole?
Well, kind of like I just said, it's some of the best television that I've watched. There are some really strong moments in there, and I think great character arcs. I think one character that I didn't know how. I sometimes when you watch a show, you can see that things are going to go a certain way. So when Claudia first met Madeline, I was like, okay, there's a little tiff there, but you could see that there. I think there's going to be a friendship, and I thought that storyline was interesting because what I
Mm-hmm.
read in about the book is that it's written more as a mother-daughter relationship because Claudia has never had a mother
A
figure,
mom. Mm-hmm.
and in this is almost you can almost see it as a friendship relationship type way. Is kind of how it's written. So either way, I thought that was interesting. But yeah, no, it was a great season. I think it was just some really good moments, like you said, strong writing, uh, costume design, anything you can think about
Yeah.
is incredible.
Yeah, it's an incredible season. Both seasons have been incredible. Hats off to all involved. And
Right,
especially for this season, that was sort of rushed because of the
right,
strikes. Like they had less time to prepare. Um, and they had the drastic, casting change with Claudia, which Delaney Hales did a wonderful job
yeah,
sort of reintroducing this character to us. Um, I loved Bailey Bass in season 1, but I loved Hales for season 2, so I
right,
wasn't upset about that. I didn't know how that was going to work out, but it was a wonderful, excellent, seamless transition. So yeah,
yeah.
bravo for both seasons. Now, what are our thoughts on the greatest immortal universe? Because we still have Mayfair Witches, which will have its second season next year, and then the Temescala will be coming as well. And this will be a series focused on the group of gentlemen or people that are sort of battling these supernatural forces.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I think vampire shows in general have to have good writing, otherwise they can really struggle and come off cheesy. So I almost think the less shows we have, the better. Because I tried the Mayfair Witches and I could not get into it. I don't know if it was Alexandra Daddario or the story itself, but it didn't hit. So
Yeah, I'm going to try to revisit it because I only watched the first episode, but
yeah,
after watching Interview with Vampire and then watching that first episode, it was like day and night as
absolutely.
opposed to quality, and that's what kind of threw me off. Now I know that Mark Johnson, executive producer, is sort of like over the entire universe of the shows.
Yeah,
but I don't know if the same showrunner is over each one, which I don't believe so. So that might be some of the difference. But I also just want to watch it so I know what the hell's happening later
That's a
on,
good point. That's a
and
good point.
see how they cross paths, because I'm interested to see how the characters from this show come to Mayfair, and then the Temescala, I guess, would be more like a Men in Black type of
Yeah.
kind of thing, because the
That's
character we got in this season from the Temescala, he was pretty interesting for the most part.
yeah.
And it was just enough for us to sort of be interested in to see what comes.
Right.
Um, as far as rating this season, it's a 5 out of 5. I don't
There's nothing wrong with it from
like.
second one to the last second of this episode 8. Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. And if you haven't watched, season 1 is on DVD. Season 2 streams on AMC Plus, and then Netflix will have, I believe, season 1 sometime later this year. I don't know about season 2, but it's a very short watch. Just get into it. It's one of the best shows on TV since, like we said, the last few years. Like, it's excellent,
Right.
and there's no reason why it shouldn't be in discussion for awards. I don't know if it met the eligibility deadline, but it should be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, now we're going to transition to what we've been watching lately, because our streams of the week this week will be special because we'll have our quarter to review. So let's just start with the big one. House of the Dragon, episode 3, The Burning Mill. What were your thoughts on this episode?
Hold on. From the time that we talked, we had episode 2 and 3. So
Oh, okay. You're right.
yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah.
So episode 2 was Rhaenyra the Cruel.
Right. Yeah.
So episode 2 followed the murder of Jaehaerys.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's start there instead of jumping so far.
Right. And like you said, that was the one where Jaehaerys, the little boy, is killed on accident. They couldn't find Aemond.
Yeah.
And he's killed, and then this kind of sets off what comes next between the two families, or I guess Team Green and Team Black. And it goes nuts, because then the sitting king, God, there's too many names. Now that's
Aegon.
Aegon.
Aegon the Second, yeah.
Aegon II kind of just loses his mind and goes crazy with power and what he wants to do, and how he wants to retaliate against Rhaenyra. And it leads to some pretty good scenes, and it's interesting just how everybody's roles are kind of evolving. You have Alicent, who I guess is trying to play a level head, but at the same time isn't. It seems like she still wants to get at Rhaenyra, but she's like,
because
okay,
she has no power. Like,
exactly.
she ended up giving the pussy up for the patriarchy, and it's backfiring. Okay,
Absolutely, yeah.
It's not working.
Yeah. It's not going in her favor at all.
At all. Because her son basically calls for Rhaenyra's death. Well, not her son. Her son's new hand, Sir Christian Cole.
Right.
Who is an idiot. He decides, since he wasn't on guard and allowed the child to be murdered in the first place, he sends Sir Eric Cargill to kill Rhaenyra as disguised as his twin brother, Sir Auric. I don't know how you tell the difference.
Yeah.
I guess one's with the A, one's with the E, so you may pronounce it differently. But it's literally the same name for the twins, which is very odd. But yeah, that was just a foolish errand. So that happens, and it's a plunder, as both twins end up dead. Sir Eric is murdered, and once his brother realizes what he did, he unalives himself, and they're both dead. So nobody wins anything with that.
Right.
But you also got Sir Christian Cole promoted to hand after Lord Larys whispered in Aegon's ear about how Otto, his grandfather, was his father's hand, not his hand, and that was a magnificent scene where Otto confronts Aegon and Cole about this scheme or whatever.
Right.
I thought that was one of the standout scenes of that episode. But yeah, it ends in death, and that brings us to the burning mill, which I love how they're highlighting how their decisions and King's Landing is affecting the common
Everything.
folk
Right.
in the realm. Because we don't really get that with Game of Thrones.
No.
A lot of it was basically, the people of the houses, the highborn people, but you didn't get, what's happening with regular average Joe because Rhaenyra is blocking the imports. Like, you didn't get any of that stuff. So that's very interesting. But episode 3, the burning mill, opened with the Black Woods and the Bracken, who were basically like always at odds.
Yeah.
But of course, one's chosen Team Black, one's chosen Team Green, and a little scuffle turns into like a mass casualty event. Yeah, that was a wild way to open.
Yeah, it was, because then when they zoom back out and then you see all the bodies, it's like, damn, this was off a couple words.
yeah, y'all doing a bit too much. So this episode basically finds both teams trying to push their strategies forward. So Daemon's off to Harrenhal to convince them and the Riverlands to join Team Rhaenyra, and Kristen Cole is doing the same thing, just a bit slower. I especially like the stuff with Daemon just because he's not a likable. Well, no one's a likable character for the most part.
No,
but he's one on the love to hate list, and you saw a moment of sort of vulnerability with him at Harrenhal, and him sort of facing his demons. With that very creepy cameo. Which I thought was interesting. And then I love seeing Bela on the dragon as she spots Cole and the King's Guard. That was awesome.
I thought another good scene was I can't remember, but the procession of the little boy.
Yes.
And it had Allison and what is her name? Helena riding in the carriage. And when that carriage got stuck, I was like, this little boy's head's about to pop off.
Yeah, I thought the whole body was about to fall off. That was so stress-inducing. And that's something they do very well. Like,
yeah, it is.
As we haven't reached, like, the battle scenes yet, they still know how to construct scenes for high tension that aren't, like, violent or anything like that. That scene from episode 2 was very scary because it's a sickening notion to just parade your dead son around like that. But it was smart on Otto's part to galvanize the public in their favor, and then Aegon hangs everybody
and absolutely loses it.
Yeah. Right, loses it completely, which was an insane thing to do.
And then you had to talk about what's her name. What is her name? I think her name is Mysaria.
Yes,
Mysaria, kind of her role,
who was sort of like the MVP of episode 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mysaria, who was Daemon's sort of like concubine and sort of controlled the White Worm, which was like the Whisperers of King's Landing. She chooses to side with Rhaenyra after she's the one that sets the alarm that the evil twin was headed their way.
Right.
So without her noticing him, Rhaenyra might have fallen by Sir Eric's sword. So in reward for that, Rhaenyra offers her a place on her court, which is very, very smart because Mysaria is a smart woman. She has her ear to the ground, and she would be similar to what Team Green has with Lord Larys.
Right.
Essentially. Episode 3, we have people strategizing. Team Black is pressuring Rhaenyra to set the dragons ablaze. They even, question why she's still in Dragonstone, given how vulnerable she could be to attack. And she calls them out on that. She says, "No, you're not going to be taken over. I'm alive.
Exactly.
I am the heir. So I thought that was good. Also, kudos to Rhaenys because she's the only one with any logic in the whole
Yeah.
realm. She would have been an excellent queen.
Yeah.
Had she not been a woman, basically. But her advice to Rhaenyra is very sound, and she basically convinces her to reach out to Alicent, which is how the episode ends. And that was another high tension moment because how are you like public enemy number one just walking
into the
into King's Landing as if nothing could happen
with barely any disguise at all.
Just a nun. That's it. I thought the scene with her and Alicent was excellent. It was very reminiscent of scenes from season 1 in their childhood as they always met in the Sept. And we finally had the reveal that we knew all along that Viserys was not speaking of Aegon II. He was speaking of Aegon the Conqueror and the Song of Ice and Fire. And when Alicent realizes that she'd been booed with a fool for the past umpteen years, it justifies Rhaenyra. It validates all her feelings. And I think it motivates her more to finally rain down fire on the High Towers and what's been rightfully stolen from her.
Right.
And at the same time, Alicent is right. Like, it is too late. Like, she has no say in the council as Aegon and Cole and Aegon are pushing her out. Her father has left. And even though her brother's there, I don't think he'll have much sway either.
No, I doubt it. Yeah.
Because I think she brought him on to give her some support. But after the incident with the dragon, Cole's already sort of nipped that in the bud.
Right.
Because there was animosity between them already, but I think Cole got the best of that. So yeah, it's been a very interesting ride. We'll have episode 4 this evening, and it appears that we're getting to the action by now.
Okay.
From the trailers. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this episode.
No, it's been good.
It's been very good. Some people are upset that it's moving slow. Have they watched Game of Thrones?
Yeah, clearly.
50% of them is just talking and plotting. And Game of Thrones had less dragons, so let's be real.
Yeah.
Hopping to another network. Paramount Plus has Evil. The season's been great. A lot of things are happening. Like, a lot of things. But I think they're doing it very well.
Okay.
We just had episode 7.
Maybe, 6 or 7. My Paramount Plus was messed up this week, so I couldn't access it. So, yeah.
Well, I won't say anything, but it's a very good episode. You saw how last episode, or the previous episode, Cheryl finds out exactly what happened to Andy and connects that to Leland.
Right.
So you get that, and then the previous episode was the airplane one, right?
Yeah, before the one with, Leland. Yeah.
Let me make sure I get this right. Yeah, episode 7 was just this past week. Episode 6 was the one with the dancers. Then episode 5 was the airplane one. Yeah. It's getting very creepy. Like, it's always been creepy, but it's getting very sinister.
Yeah.
And the developments with Ben are very interesting as he sort of realizes something is not all the way right. Yeah. But it's been very good, and I don't know how many episodes we have left. I know they did some extra episodes to wrap the story up as they unfortunately got canceled. But they're actually hoping they get picked up again somewhere else. So whether that be Netflix or... Because apparently the King still wanted to continue as well as the actors.
But see, that's my thing. Like, I think that would be nice, but I hope it doesn't go too long.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like a show that needs 6 or 7 seasons. Or
Yeah,
something
I would
like
say
that.
6 would be enough
Yeah.
because they're already at season 4. If they wanted to go anymore, yeah, it's been very good. Let's see, and then The Bear season 3, I finished it in a weekend. Might be the best season yet.
Okay.
Um, it still, of course, has that chaos in it, but it's a lot calmer just because I think they're all in new spaces as they're trying to transform the bear. I'm trying to transform the Chicago beef to the bear to this
Sure.
fine dining restaurant. A lot of things happen this season, but overall, it's very good.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out because um, I've read some things about it, but I've not watched it yet. I saw one thing that was just kind of brushed off, and it's like how the bear can get back on track for season 4. And I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
it's not bad at all. People just love to say things to be contrary.
yeah, that's what I figured.
It's a very good season.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
And then I don't know if you ever watched The Boys.
I've seen a few episodes in the first season.
Okay, well, we're season 4 of The Boys. This past episode has been their most topical yet, as this season is dealing with Homelanders versus Starlighters. So it's
Okay,
basically like Trump versus the liberals.
gotcha.
It's an election year, so it's parallel. That word.
Paralleling, yeah.
Yes, thank you. Everything that's basically happening in America right now.
Right.
And this latest episode, if you've seen the first few episodes from season 1, there's some callbacks to season 1 in this episode that very much set the plot ablaze. It's been really good. The first 2 episodes were okay. Episode 3 is when things started to actually
Take
get
off.
into gear. There's
Okay.
2 episodes left, as I believe there's 9 episodes this season. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And they have one more. They've been renewed for a final 5th season. So that, I'm sure, will come probably sometime next year because they have season 2 of Gen V, which might be coming next year. So,
Yeah, definitely have to get into that. I always see people talk about it and like they're huge fans. So
yeah, it's a crazy show. Just to put that out there. Like, it's crazy. All right, and now we'll get into our streams of the week, which will be our quarter 2 review. We'll talk about the favorite shows and movies we watched the last 3 months, and then look ahead to our summer preview for July through September. So let's just start with TV. What were our favorite top series from the last 3 months? So things we finished in April, May, and June.
So do you want them from each, or how do you want that?
We can just list the shows to try and go like by month or whatever.
Okay,
Like
so
you
I'll
say
check by
one,
month.
yeah, you say one, I say one, blah 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 blah.
Okay, so for April, for me, I had down, I don't know when it ended, but I had down The Sympathizer. I know that started in April. I thought that was very good, really good show. I started it after you told me, but Ripley, and I did get through it. It was a slow burn, still kind of a strange plot, but I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Under the Bridge. Did you get that finished on Hulu?
I have not started that yet, but it's still on my list to watch. People say it's really good.
You'll enjoy that. Yeah, Riley Keough does really well, as does Jesus Christ, I'm horrible at names.
It's coming to me.
Yes.
Lily Gladstone.
Lily Gladstone, absolutely. Yeah. So for April, those were the shows that I enjoyed and really liked.
All right, for me, I had Ripley, which was decent. I didn't know what to expect, and I never saw the movie either, but I thought it was pretty good. I had Fallout on Prime Video.
Oh, yeah.
Really good. Not a fan of the games, but I thought this adaptation was really great, and it's been renewed for a 2nd season. And then The Scare, so season 2 of the anthology series. Season 1 was very much like too heavy on the racism. Like it was a lot. Like at one point there's a flashback and you learn that the main character lost a child because a woman sicked her dog. Like, it's very
Damn.
trauma heavy. This season was a lot better. They kind of curtailed the trauma stuff to have more horror and like an underline of the racism, but it's very good.
Okay.
So those are my top 3 for April.
All right. Okay, you
Go
want to go
ahead.
ahead for May? Okay, I'll go.
Oh, yeah, I'll go for May.
Yeah.
Let me just okay. May X97,
Oh, yeah.
hands down. Like, I didn't know what to expect, but every Wednesday, I think it dropped on Wednesdays, I was up that morning to watch the show because I knew it was going to get spoiled because people wouldn't be able to shut up.
Right.
So X97 definitely, and Hack season 3. Hacks was really good. I'm ready to see what happens next. The way it ended, it definitely sets up something great for the following season. So those were my top
Right.
for May.
For me, I think I definitely spoke about on here, but I had the show Bodkin, and this came on Netflix, and it was a show about a podcast duo who travels to a small town in kind of coastal Ireland to solve this long mystery, and it becomes this bigger story that's really good, and I enjoyed it a lot. It was pretty fun, and then I'm not sure you could count it as a show, but I will say it, but Stacks Soulville, which came out
Yeah,
in May as well, and we know we just spoke about that, but that was generally good, informative, and just an interesting look at a kind of a important time in not just Black history but American history in terms of music.
definitely.
So, yeah, I really enjoyed that. So
And then finally in June, I didn't have a lot in June since I'm still kind of watching
exactly, yeah,
stuff. I guess I would say Envy with the Vampire since that kind of wrapped up
yeah.
last month technically. No notes. Watch the damn show. Like, I don't know what else to say. Watch the show. But I also had Abbott Elementary. I
Yeah,
really enjoyed this season. I thought it was one of the better seasons, and I know people were upset that it was shorter because of the strike or whatever. But
right.
I thought it was really really good. And then
Okay.
Elsbeth on CBS.
Oh yeah, you remember me talking about that.
With Carrie Preston. It was really interesting, and I see how they set up a second season. So it'll be interesting to see how they do that. But yeah, those are my picks for June.
All right. Yeah, my picks for June, a little bit of the same boat. I have the House of Dragon just because I think it started in June and still ongoing. Um, I did. There was. I became obsessed with this show after the first season, and the second season dropped at the end of June. But the worst roommate ever on Netflix.
I see people talking about
Oh
this.
my god! Please watch it. It's right up your alley because you like true crime. It's like it's terrifying. It makes you never want to have to live with a roommate. Um, and
Okay.
then, kind of one show I've gotten into lately because I watched the UK version, but Love Island USA, and they kind of drop, I think, weekly episodes. And I don't do much reality trash TV like that, but for some reason I've kind of gotten hooked on this, and it's hard to turn away.
Okay, is there someone named Jalen on there?
I believe so. Yeah.
He's from Hagerstown.
Oh wow.
Yeah, people were posting on Facebook like, make sure you watch Jalen from Richmond, blah, 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 blah. His name's
Wow.
Jalen Oliver. I was like,
Because
oh.
I saw one thing going around where a girl, a woman now, her like long-term 3-year boyfriend that she had broken up with, I guess before she went to college, was now a contestant on the show. And somebody in the group chat told her, and they just went nuts. They're just like, "What? Like, how is he a contestant? What's going on?" I was like, "That's crazy." But no, it's yeah, it's just something not serious to watch, but it really kind of pulls you in.
I gotcha. I gotcha.
Yeah.
And then any movies that you watched last? I know it's kind of hard to track those because you just kind
Right.
of watched something here and there. But any movies to you that stood out?
Well, in April, we came off the back of the Oscars, so everything got released. So I think in April, I watched The Zone of Interest and The Holdovers were the two I can really think of. And both of those were really good. May. I think that's when the Iron Claw dropped with Zac Efron. That's an incredible movie and extremely sad. And think that it's based on
A true
true
story.
event. It's like
Yeah.
Jesus. And then last month, anything new? I watched Bratz on Hulu. It's about the Brat Pack from the
Oh,
'80s.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really kind of interesting. And I love that era of movies. So to see, obviously, I wasn't alive, but to see kind of like they were like, I wouldn't say they're the first movie stars, but they were like the first group of movie stars were like treated how movie stars are treated now, where people are always following them. People, like, what are they doing? And yeah, really interesting. So,
And I didn't realize like the Brat Pack was sort of like a name given to them out of like spite. It wasn't something
yeah,
like
right.
cuddly or
No,
something. I didn't
yeah,
realize that.
yeah. That was the thing I mentioned too. It's like as much as they were adored, there was a lot of kind of disdain as well. Like oh god, them and them again, and yeah, really
That's
interesting.
crazy. Yeah, for me, I saw Late Night with the Devil. I think that was
Oh yeah,
back in April sometime, which I really enjoyed. I'm not really a horror person, but it was available on Shudder. I was like, I love a free free movie. And the Little Richard I'm Everything documentary was really
oh yeah,
good. Cause I didn't really know his story, and it's honest to God, like when he says I created this shit, he was like there were others around him, but he was the one that everyone's pulled from.
yeah. He's the blueprint.
Yeah, which is wild. So yeah, those are the movies for me. Um, and then let's get into what's coming up.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Starting in July, since we're at the beginning of this month. Let's start with let's just do the whole month. Say your shows and movies, and then I'll
Okay,
share mine. So we'll go month to month.
that works. Okay, so for me, I've got three things. Um, we're getting Snowpiercer, July 21st. Really want to check that out. I just really enjoyed that, so I'm going to see how that is. A show that I've been watching for a few years now on PBS, Hotel Portofino. I love PBS Masterpiece. I'll never get tired of it. And then the 31st, we get the newest season of Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix, which is very good. Usually that comes out in the fall, but I'm not going to complain.
Right.
Upcoming movies that I want to see. One came out this past Friday, the 5th, and that's Maxine, which is the third installation of that saga of movies, and kind of brings it all to an end with Mia Goth, and I can't remember the director's name. He's got an interesting name. It's like Ty something.
Ty West.
Ty West. Yes, that's him. Yeah. So, yeah, definitely want to check that out. Sing Sing comes out July 12th, which is this coming Friday. And as well with Sing Sing, we get Long Legs, which has been talked about for months now. A horror film that everybody is saying it's the best horror film of the last decade. So I would definitely try to see that in theaters so I get the full effect. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Alrighty, and for me, I've got Lady in the Lake, which drops on July 19th. This is with
Yes.
Natalie Portman and Moses Ingram. I think it was originally Lupita Nyong'o or somebody, but they had a shift or a change in casting or something like that. Basically, it's sort of like a true crime mystery where a white housewife somehow sort of involves herself in the mystery, and it's supposed to have some type of like supernatural elements to it as well.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested after watching the trailer. 31st, I've got Unsolved Mysteries. I'm ready to see what they hit us with. I thought season 3 was fine. It did too much of the like who's out there type episodes.
Yeah. Just get to the
Get to the murder.
yeah. And I don't mind them, but every time I watch a UFO episode, I'm like, nigga, either show the UFO show the alien in the house or something.
Right.
Like,
not just like a light
Yeah.
just out of nowhere. Like, come on. But yeah, that's my TV. And then movies, I have Sing Sing on the 12th. And I'm interested in this Twisters movie only because
Yeah.
Anthony Ramos is in it.
Oh
And
yeah.
um, what's his face directed it? Um, Lee Isaac Chung, who did Minari. So I'm
Oh
like,
wow.
oh, let me support this director of color.
Right. That's okay. I didn't know that.
Right. So that's sort of like kind of got me interested. Like, how will this? I mean, I'm sure not gonna be that different from the original, but this is very interesting choice. So you don't see one, you don't see a lot of Asians getting films like this to direct,
Yeah, that's
and
very true.
coming off of Minari, which was like an indie Oscar film, to get Twisters is a very good leap. So I think I'm going to see that on the 19th. If not, then I'll see it at home. But you get it.
Ouch. Yeah.
All right, and then we move to August. Excuse me. I'll go ahead and start. I have a lot in August because a lot drops in August, but I'll try to
Yeah,
do
a
just
lot.
stick to the top three. um, August 1st, Batman: Cape Crusader.
Yeah.
So this is a new animated series from Bruce Timm, who is producer on the '90s animated series. Drops on Prime Video. It's basically, they said it's the '90s series, but they are able to be more adult themed in this one. Whereas, the prior series was on '90s Fox Kids. They
Right.
couldn't do like TVMA. So this
Right.
one's to be a bit more mature. That's on August 1st on Prime Video. Next would be August 23rd. No, next would be August 11th. Season 3 of Industry drops. I saw the first episode at ATX TV Festival. They are coming with the shits.
Okay.
Everyone is on edge as usual, but it's going to be a very good season because they've have Kit Harington joining as one of the, I guess, proposed villain of the season, if you want to say
Okay.
that. So
Yeah.
that should be interesting on August 11th on Max, and then August 23rd we get Pachinko season 2.
Yeah.
The show hasn't aired since, when was it, like 2020?
Yeah, it had to be during the
It's been a
2021 or
while.
2022. Yeah.
Yeah, season 1 dropped 2022 of March. So this is season 2 of sort of like the multi-generational, multicultural family saga. This is where I first saw Anasawa, and she has
Oh
since
yeah.
then done Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, and Shogun. So, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my TV picks. And then, excuse me, movie wise, August 23rd, The Supreme at Earl's All You Can Eat drops on Hulu. This is a movie starring Sanaa Lathan. Oh, the names are escaping me. I think what's her face is in it. um Sanaa Lathan, Aujane Ellis, and the one girl from Orange is the New Black. Shoot.
Yeah, you got me on that one.
Hold on. I'm looking it up now. It's based on a book. Yeah, Sanaa Taylor, Anjanae Ellis Taylor, and Uzo Aduba. There we go.
Oh, okay, okay.
I don't really know what the series is about. I just remember hearing about the book and then hearing that they were adapting the book for a film. Because I think originally it was supposed to be a series.
Okay.
But that drops on Hulu on the 23rd. And then the 30th, I want to see The Wasp with Naomi Harris. And someone else, but I doubt it comes anywhere near here.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like a revenge film with Naomi Harris and Natalie Dormer. But I'll probably end up watching Deliverance on Netflix. Which is a Lee Daniels movie about, basically it's like a black family who's experiencing satanic demonic possession. But
Okay.
it's allegedly took place in Gary. Like, it's based on true events.
I remember that story because of that house. Yeah.
Yeah.
That house was on the news all the time here. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So that drops. And then Trap. I'm interested in seeing M.
Oh
Night
yeah,
Shyamalan's new movie starring Josh Hartnett, where he's an alleged serial killer who takes his daughter to a concert, and the entire concert is supposed to be a trap for him.
him. Yeah,
See, that's my August. August is very busy.
yeah. August is a lot. All right. Well, for me, I've got a little bit of the same. I have Industry. I finally finished season 2, so I'll be ready for this new season.
What did
Um,
you think about that ending?
it was a lot. It was very yeah. That show is, how do I put this? Oh my god, it's tense, it's anxiety inducing, but you can't turn away. Like you have to just kind of push through it.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, I'll be ready for the new season, and I'll have to see the trailer. So I think we'll be good. And then I have Only Murders in the Building. It comes back August 27th. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think the show was going to be as big as it was when I saw the first season. But it's got like a
Yeah.
cult following now. It's like it can never end, but it's good. And Selena Gomez, obviously, she got her start in acting as a child, and she's really good in this, and so is everybody. So I'll be there to see that. As for movies, the first movie is the movie Cuckoo, and this stars Hunter Schafer. And I swear I first heard about this movie like in 2021 or something. And
Yeah, it's been a while ago. I think they filmed it a while ago.
right, it's gonna be nuts because she's gonna look so different. Because this was definitely, I think, filmed after Euphoria, so she'll look a bit younger. But it should be good. I think the premise is that she moves to Germany with her father reluctantly, and the house that she lives in, she starts hearing weird noises, and a lot of different stuff happens. So that's good. And then a film I'm sure will come to like one of the special theaters here is this film Sebastian, and this got picked up from Sundance, and it is about a young 25-year-old who is a freelance writer, writes big things, and to kind of gain information about what he writes about, he kind of moonlights as a sex worker and sleeps with men, and kind of writes about these experiences, and it takes place in London. So it's like, okay, that could be interesting. So we'll see what that's about. And then just to kind of see how bad it is, I want to see The Crow on August 23rd.
Okay.
I no confidence in that, but I don't know. The Skarsgårds are good at what they do, so there's still a chance. So
Yeah, the only thing I've heard about so far is that they've described it as like a grimy indie film. So as opposed to like the original, which is supposed to be like this blockbuster
right,
hit, like this one is a bit more not underdeveloped, but like a little more smaller in scope, in scape or scope, which I mean makes sense nowadays. Alrighty, and now we're into September. TV wise, all I have is I'm going back on the Marvel train to see if they can redeem themselves with Agatha All Along. This is the spinoff of WandaVision, starring Katherine Hahn as Agatha Harkness. They described it as a horror series and that she will be like an anti-hero because, of course, they never want the villain to just be outright bad. It's Marvel. Yeah. But yeah, that's September 18th. And then there's no date yet, but The Penguin is supposed to drop in September.
Yeah.
With Colin Farrell. Must see TV. I mean, I enjoyed the Batman. I'm ready to see how this sort of spells out. I think it's sort of like, it's not a prequel, but it's like a continuation of The Penguin sort of after the events of the film. So
yeah.
Should be interesting.
That trailer makes it seems like Batman meets The Sopranos. It's super gritty and kind of, it's interesting. So for my show, that's the only show I have in September, and it's The Penguin, and I'm very excited for that. And as for movies, whatchamacallit comes out. I guess it's the remake of Beetlejuice, just called Beetlejuice, and that's early in September. I think it's September 6th is when it comes out.
Yeah, so I've got that down. I was very hesitant because I didn't think it needed a sequel. After the trailer, I was like, oh, well.
Right.
Maybe.
So,
Yeah.
And Jenna Ortega is good, so I mean, it's got a crazy cast. So it's
she's like the new horror girl.
Yeah, she is. She is.
Yeah, and the cast is strong. So yeah, I'm interested to see what happens. And I also had Never Let Go. This is a new Halle Berry movie.
Yeah, I've seen the trailers.
So it's like a horror thriller with the sons in the woods. So I saw a lot of people tweet, "She got kids, y'all. It's gonna be good."
Oh, that's funny.
So yeah, the next 3 months should be kind of packed. We'll just see exactly what I go see and what I watch. Because there's always the expectation, and then actually what happens.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really excited. And then by September we will have the Emmys. The nominations drop this month on the 17th, so we'll probably be discussing those pretty soon. I'm very interested to see what makes the cut.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Reservation Dogs gets in there somehow with this final season.
Needs to be in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Just please, because it was the best comedy on show the last 3 years. Of course, the Bear is going to be there. It's just I'm worried about drama. If it wasn't for Shogun moving from limited series to drama, the nominees would be trash because you have like The Crown. What were the other suggestions? It's just like shows that were good, but not
like
not everyone's talking about. Like The Morning Show. I don't see how people like that show. It's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's that prestige.
Yeah.
Succession being over, it's like anybody's game, but Shogun should be a shoo-in since they're thinking about a second season, as well as Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Like they're thinking about it having a second season, so it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
To say the least. We thank you for listening to this episode of It's a Streamable Life podcast with Brandon and Lorin. We will see you in 2 weeks, where we'll probably be discussing this new Beverly Hills Cop movie, possibly. Yeah. And just sort of like that whole franchise and whether Eddie still has it or not, and the whole like reboot of it all. Like everything is being rebooted except things that we actually want to see. But yeah, and of course we'll be talking about the Emmy nominations as well. So until then, keep on streaming.
Peace.